Yo, 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 what's going on, people? Welcome to the first episode of Soul Sessions. We're in the building, in the Black Oud studio. First time in the building, I got my brethren, my main man, my right-hand shooter, Fahim. I got the main squeeze, everyone knows, the prince, the main man, can't come Old Kent Road without getting the pass. Ali with the belly, what are you saying, Ak?
Love my brother. What's good, man?
Assalamualaikum, brothers. You man
Excellent.
saying?
Alhamdulillah, man. Good, man.
What are you saying? Black Oud Studios, yeah?
Yeah, it's proper.
Looking proper.
Yeah, it's clean. First time coming in the building. It's looking fresh in there.
Told man he's gonna blow.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised because we know the levels that the brother's been putting in. So to see it come to fruition, I'm happy to be here, man. So anyway, brothers, what you man saying? How was it getting up here?
Well, it's kind of quick, man, but-
Traffic times.
Yeah, routes in it. All depends on routes, bro. On times, innit?
Yeah, you was
Routes,
running a bit
times,
late. What
congestions.
happened?
Boy, the mechanic.
What mechanics?
It's the mechanic. It was
Yeah,
written.
no, all right, that's what I'm saying. So obviously today we're in the building. We're going to catch up on a couple conversations. We're going to look back at the week, look back, see what's been going on. There's a couple things I want to talk on in terms of what's going on, in terms of anyway, let me get straight into it. First thing I wanted to touch on really was social media, and is social media the place to go on if you've got an issue? Because you know a lot of the times people have issues and the first place they go on is social media and they start to vent or tell everyone their problems. Like, who remembers the Tyrese thing when Tyrese was like, what more do they want from me? You know what I'm saying? And everybody just took the mick out of him.
Yeah.
And this was a man who didn't get custody or was going through some type of custody to see his daughter. So here we have a black man who people, you know, we got this stigma, you know, in terms of black community, black men and their children. Here we have a man who's crying out his heart to see his daughter who he loves dearly. And then you got the whole, you know, community, I would say black community, and just in general people laughing at him and making him into a meme. And this is a serious situation because we already know in the hood there's a lot of people not having that time with their kids, not seeing their kids, etc. Is social media the place to really go and vent these type of things? Because recently we've seen, you know, with Kanye West, and also we've seen with Will Smith, his missus cheating on him, and the whole world being a part of that. Is that the place for you to go to vent your frustration? What do you man say? What are you saying, for you?
For me, no. For me, definitely no. I mean, we start with just like the whole Will Smith thing. That I think is unique in itself in that whole situation, just because of what it was.
Yeah.
It's not a thing where he went out and complained about the situation.
Yeah.
It's a third party complained about a situation he allegedly wasn't aware of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that instance, what can be done? That's completely out of your hands. But then other things like Tyrese, it's like what you say is true. There is a stigma in certain sections of communities and whatnot about men not wanting to see their children. And then you see things like that where access is being denied and people dismiss it as some sort of joke, or they're not supportive. But if it was the other way around and a woman saying she was being denied access to her kids, would we get the same reaction?
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? Or do you think pushing it back to you and to Ali, do you think it's more harmful for men to go onto social media and share certain issues and certain topics?
What do you think, Shay?
You know what? I agree with F, you know. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think, nah, generally speaking, I can't say no fully, but I believe no anyway. I ain't gonna lie to you, man, straight.
Yeah,
I
what's
don't think it's the
that
place
there?
because-
Because you're social media, man. Man, know your things
Nah,
like the
you know I'm
news.
from the road, but I'm saying, bro, on the internet, once you go on and you say something like that, it can't be taken back, number one. And then two, what comes with that is a serious thing that can push man over the edge. Like, the guy is actually it's mad because exactly what he said. If the shoe was on the other foot with the Will Smith thing and with the Tyrese thing, it would be totally different. Now I see what an athlete put up on his Snapchat, something about what if it was the other way around? What if Will Smith done a thing with his daughter's friend? Would it be entanglement? They would have finished him. They would have said predator, X, Y, Z, all of this. But when she does it and she was going online like she was a type of guru and like, I'm the knowledgeable person for all women and I'm for the empowerment and whatever, and I'm the go-to person and I'm perfect or whatever, however it seemed.
Yeah.
When she done it, memes were getting made. This is the first time I've seen memes get made to big someone up, not even to mug them. Like, people taking photos of her, old school photos of her on the beach or whatever, captions like, yo, this is how you look, this is how your skin glows when you take man's son for idiot and rare. And I'm thinking, raw, man's daughter wrote a letter to a man that died before she was born, if I'm correct, saying I
that
miss you.
yeah.
Forget all of that wife stuff, yeah? Because a man can move on in it. Maybe speaking for me, I don't know. But a man, but your daughter's your daughter in at the end of the day. So for your daughter to write a letter, like there was a meme. I'm not gonna act like it weren't funny, but it was deep. Like the logic behind us, thinking, raw, that's mad, you know. He said there's a meme saying something like Will Smith can't even kill her if he wanted to, because if she dies, she'll go to Tupac. She's
That's
alive,
rough.
and next month is August. I was
That's
thinking,
rough.
blood fire. That's a mad thing.
Yeah, that's rough.
You get it?
It's
You know
rough.
the truth in the meme. I was thinking, bruv, it's
But
scary.
I'm thinking like, cool, because my thing is this, is social media a place for you to vent a frustration or something that's going on in your life? But my thing is, if a female comes out and vents that she's been mistreated by a man or something's happened, does the community have the same response?
No.
Do we start putting memes up about her and laughing about her situation, blah, blah, blah?
You know we
or
don't.
are we more supportive? What's this issue with, you know, black men especially who come out and speak about any type of situation that they might have? What's this issue of, you know, not taking them serious or belittling the situation that they're in? Because we see it a lot with black men where people belittle their situation, like I said, Tyrese, Will Smith, Kanye West, whatever it may be. Like Kanye West, everyone knows the brother's got bipolar. He's got issues. And sometimes what he's trying to pattern and what he's trying to say comes out the wrong way. But then when you sit down and break it down with him, you know what he's saying. You understand what he was trying to get to or the gist of the thing, but it comes out wrong. But people won't accept the fact that someone with bipolar at the same time can be, you know, a marketing
that's that
genius or a musical genius in terms of the work that he does. Like people are like, he knows what he's doing when he's making music. He knows what he's doing when he's, you know, selling his
They
brands.
think that you gotta make it and go mad after
Yeah,
later
well,
on
they
in
just
life.
feel
They don't
like,
know
yeah,
that you
but
was
I'm-
doing your thing while you had problems. You was doing your thing and
That's
elevating.
what social media does.
Yeah.
It simplifies complex issues, because I said yesterday, I think I saw it, said Azalea Banks has got exactly the same condition as Kanye West. But she just gets mocked constantly. There's no support for her. She's attention seeking, this, except, do you know what I mean? So going back to the point before, in certain situations, I do believe like men are not supported as much as women in certain situations when it comes to expressing feelings of emotion, or you're coming from a place where you've been hurt. It's easier to mock a man for it online than it is a woman, because the men don't really support each other. They would more join in on the mocking than the female community would. They'd rather have a woman's back in certain situations.
Yeah.
Like you've seen with the whole Jada and Will Smith again. She got a lot of support from a lot of quarters.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas someone like Azalea Banks, she gets none, regardless whether she's a woman or not, because she is who she is,
Yeah,
and she's
I'm
not
with
popular or whatever
Who's
it
that
is.
again?
Whatever it
It's not
means.
Iggy Azalea, is it?
No, Azalea Banks she's a rapper as well as a musician.
I think I've heard it.
But she's had loads of scrapes with different people and gone back and forward on social media. Yeah, so I don't know really what to make of it. It's
Yeah,
a
for me,
double-edged
it's
sword
nuts,
for a
man,
lot
'cause-
of people, man.
Yeah, because for me, when I look at it, I feel like, cool, a lot of the time we talk about, example, you know, suicide in men in the UK, it being the, you know, the number one cause for, you know, the death of men
Under
between a
45
certain
or
age
something,
group,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Under like between the ages, I think it's like just like mid 25 to like under 45 is the number one cause of death, you know. And then we talk about mental health in the black community in terms of the stigma, because I remember I come from a generation, we all come from a generation, you can't be mad. It's like, what's wrong with my man? Is he okay? It's like, it's not an illness. It's not, you know, something that you come down with. It's not something that can just happen. It's like people deal with you a certain way. So I feel like with times changing and us being more understanding and having more information and knowledge on things like mental health and things, why is it still that if someone comes out on social media, we're still quick to laugh and joke, but then when someone dead, everybody wants to be like, oh,
He was a good
you know,
guy.
yeah, everyone say
My
rest
guy.
in peace,
You
my
need a
guy.
movement, yeah.
You know, I got time and love. But even when we look here, there's a lot of brothers who, you know, through, you know, like mental health, a lot of brothers have committed suicide in the last couple of years. If you look into our community as Muslims, we all know how many brothers have committed suicide in the
Brothers
last
from the
couple of
roads
years.
as well. It's
a lot
not
of
like
brothers
it's,
from the road. Yeah, so it's a lot. So the mental health
atypical man.
situation is real. And another thing is when you don't have no one to talk to about these issues, sometimes all you got is your phone. So people vent because that's the closest thing. Because another thing is that We know that the phone's the matrix. You believe it's real, but it's not real. You believe people on the other end really care because these are the same people that are liking your posts. So you're thinking, so it's just all in the mind. You're thinking, right, if I can get 500 people to like my post, 1,000 people like my post, these people must care about me for them to like the things that I do. Maybe if I vent to them the situation that I'm going through, they're going to be caring. But really, they're not. It's not like the internet is unforgivable. You know what I mean? Don't matter who you are. We've seen it recently with people from the community, from wherever it's like the music industry, you know, things that are coming out on them and people are mocking them. Like it comes from every walk of life. But I just feel like, why is it at one stance we want to be like, rah, yeah, we need to take mental health more seriously. We need to support black men, blah, blah, blah. But then when black men come out, whether they're famous or not, and they have issues going on, people like Kanye and like we're saying, the likes, people are quick to make memes, people are quick to...
I'm seeing emojis I've never seen before. People falling down. I'm like, right.
And this is what I'm saying. So my thing is that, is it really real? Or like, do we really want to make a difference about it? And are we going to start take it serious? Because come on, as we, you know, man them from the ends and growing up in the ends, we know that not everything you can talk to, not everything you can talk about. You know what I mean? And as men, there's a lot of things that men go through as general. So all types of men, black, white, whatever you may be. There's issues that we all go through. We all go through stress, depression, things like that. Then we got the other stigma put on you if you're a black man, where you come from a certain community, whether it's Caribbean, African, you know how, you know, mental health is looked at. I'm at like places back home in Africa, certain people that have mental health, they're just tied to the tree and they're left there.
They'll just say possessed.
Yeah, man's possessed, man's this. And we're not denying this as Muslims, that man can't get possessed and everything there. But a lot of the time it's just mental
every
health.
Case is possession.
And that's what I'm trying to say. And they'll just tie a man up on the tree all day, every day, and that's their life. I just feel like we got to do better as a community, because I've just been looking at it and I'm thinking, like, at one hand, cool, we get it. Man's laughing at Kanye. But at the other hand is, what are we laughing at a man with mental health?
Bro, like, look, at the end of the day, yeah, like, you know, over the last year, I spoke to you a lot about my mental health and what I've been through. I've known you for a long time, Mac. I've never spoke to you about that stuff before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And for me, like, I'm 37 this year. It's only, I'd say, in the last year and a half, 2 years, where I've even sat down and come to terms like, I've got a problem. Do you get what I mean? Like, and this has been going on from my teenage years, bro. Do you know what I mean? And that's something where I didn't feel comfortable talking to my family or the man them, not because I don't think they're going to understand, but it wasn't something you spoke about that time. And we know this because
we normalize
where we come from as well, how we grew up. The last thing you do is give people ammunition to show you're weak.
Come on.
Whether it's a man, whether it's your girlfriend, your partner, whatever it is, we got taught you don't share certain things with certain people because later on down the line, it's going to get used against you. Do you see what I'm saying?
100%.
So for me, I've never looked at the internet like my therapist. So I would never go online and be like, I'd rather go to a real therapist if I'm going to do that. Do you get what I mean?
I'm with you.
But having people you know come from the same background as you, who can, like you say, when you've been through certain traumas and things, and understand why you might react to certain things, it makes it easier. But we've also got to take the stigma away from people expressing themselves. Do you get what I mean? Because you'll get brothers even at our big age, like, oh man, soft, you're this or that. Or brothers will still have that same mentality where they don't even think it's right to express these things. And like, wallahi, when you live with it for so long and you don't talk about it, you question yourself, like, am I actually just nuts? Am I imagining it?
Yeah.
And you start belittling what you're going through and you compare it to other people. Do you get what I mean? So, well, it can't be that bad because he's got it. It's a dangerous game to play, bro, because before you know it, then you're just by yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no taking yourself out the firing line because you don't even know how to heal.
Yeah, that's the thing that we do a lot in the hood, coming up from a certain background, is that you look at an ex-man who's going through something mad worse that's public and you think, well, I'm not as bad as him. When really you shouldn't belittle your condition and what you're going through and your truth.
Exactly.
Because your reality and your truth is what you're going through. You, as much as you can see what another man's going through, you can't feel his pain from the inside. You can only feel what you're going through and what your reality is at the time. I just feel like seeing that in the last couple of weeks and seeing it being everywhere, like I said, the question I was asking myself is, are we as a community or are people laughing at a man with mental health? Because if so, then what are we doing? Because we're meant to be coming far from that. We're meant to be at a stage now where we're taking mental health seriously, and it's something that's come to the forefront, and we're understanding, you know, the alarming rates that young men are taking their lives, and the alarming rates that young black men are taking their lives. And I'm thinking, cool, here we have someone who has mental health, and everyone's laughing and whatever. And on top of that, we have a man whose missus has just come out, or someone's come out, you know, third party allegedly saying that they done a thing with his missus. And then she comes down and breaks it down and says, yeah, this is what happened. And the whole world's seeing. And from the picture, he can put on a brave face, but that it was bait that...
It's in the eyes,
yeah, it's in the eyes, yeah. You could see that
I ain't even seen that.
ripped, and he was in shreds, you know what I'm saying? And then again, it's a laughing situation, it's a meme, the whole world's laughing. And I'm like, things like stem from this are mental health. Like example, you know, God forbid, if Will Smith took his life, what would be the comments online?
See that one.
You know what I'm saying? What would everybody be saying? The Fresh Prince, you know, he was a legend.
I grew up off this.
You know, I grew up off him.
Man
Can't
like-
believe he's
man
done
like getting
that.
jiggy with
man
it.
like
Mad
Will,
thing.
man like Men in Black, man like this, the Wild Wild West, whatever he's done, all of this.
He's got a
You know what I'm
catalog,
saying?
yeah.
Like everybody will be coming out talking about their most favorite parts of the catalogs that he's got, blah blah blah. But when he's getting something which isn't a movie, which isn't acting, which isn't fake, man's just out here laughing. So for me, it just reminded me that social media really is a dangerous place to really be out there doing what you're doing, because as far as we think that we've advanced as a community and we're ready to talk about certain issues, it clearly shows that we're not. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's something that, I don't know, man. We're just in a strange space. We're in a strange time. 2020's brought in a load of madness. If you had ever... Who would have thought that in 2020, everybody was saying, this is my year, 2020 vision. I can see it clear, my year.
Everyone took a
Allah
joint off,
subhanahu
you
wa
know.
ta'ala licked man with, Allah
Everyone took
licked
a
us with
joint
the
off.
coronavirus,
New
and
Year's
everyone's
Eve.
kicking back now,
2020.
feet out. Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
hyping 2020 is my year, No, inshallah, you know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you don't give the inshallah. Now look, everyone's tapped out, kicking back. But going on to, you know, something different, how's the man them been dealing with this year 2020? Like, how has it affected, you know, your outlook on terms of 20? Like, did the world need coronavirus to check our habits and to check how we're moving as a group of people? Like, did we need this? Because I feel like pre-coronavirus, everybody's moving mad fast. I need to do this. I have to do that. Everyone you're talking to is like, I have to get this done. I have to, you know what I mean? I have to finish this. I have to, my brand, I need to do this. I need to build this. I have to.
crossing the road 7 times.
Yeah, there's no stopping. And all of a sudden, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hits us with the coronavirus, and now boom, everything comes to a standstill. The shops are shut. Are we going to look back at coronavirus and say, you know what? That was a serious time in our life, or a good time, or like how are we gonna look back at it? Because also, again, touching on Ramadan, you know, everybody was at home. It was a different type of Ramadan. This Ramadan, a lot of us were fasting at home with our kids, our wives. Everybody was off work. All the man them were chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a different type of Ramadan. Normally we're in the masjid, everyone's at work, the kids at work, but this time we were able to sit down with the family.
You might
have
get the
more
odd
time.
invite here and
So
there to
my
that
thing
house.
is,
Can't happen
how
now.
are we going to look back at it? Are we going to look at it as a blessing in disguise, or the year that the world messed up?
I'll be real with you though. Like, obviously everything's from Allah, and we needed lockdown, man. We needed it, man. That remand, even if it felt like mad remand, they just sitting there thinking, when's this bird gonna end? Am I getting sentenced? What's going on? I'm just sitting there, but we needed it, man. We needed it. I ain't gonna lie to you that when you look at stuff like, I think they said in Italy, they saw that the first dolphin they've seen since 1950 and 50 years. I didn't even know Italy has dolphin. I thought they had Godfather and pasta. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking, a dolphin. Imagine going in Venice with your wife. I want dolphin, you know what I'm saying? You just gamed it mad. The dolphin just, you get me? So I was thinking, little stuff like the environment, the pollution went down drastic. Obviously other stuff happened, like I think I saw on the news, domestic violence went up. Divorces went up, but if it's not written, it's not written. You know what I'm saying? Better she find out he's a jerk now than later on. You know what I mean? Imagine lockdown happened 20 years later.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
what's your effect
family
on 2020, or what's your looking back on it? Like so far,
So far.
it's only been 6 months, you know. 7
Yeah.
months that we're in now.
know.
It's
I
I
not
feel like
been
I've
a
done
lot.
10, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it does. It feels like 6 years, man. I don't know. For me, it's strange because I'm just gonna keep touching back on the mental health aspects every now and then. It seems it's out there in the room now. For me, having that much time on my hands and being secluded, even though I'm with family, that's not good for me. So when we were out doing resale at the whole time, do you know what I mean? We're out every other day. That's therapy. Do you get what I'm saying? But for me, yes and no. It helped, as in I felt a lot closer to Allah than I've done for a long time, and that was due to how unique lockdown was. Do you know what I mean? Gives you a time, especially Ramadan. But I think for the wider community, it exposed some stuff as well. Like you said, a lot of
I forgot you had
a lot of allegations came out against people for sexual assault, and some high-profile people have been caught up in it. Not just in the music community and stuff. I mean, in the Muslim community, it's like people are finally starting to not look at certain issues with rose-tinted glasses, and there's no more sweeping under the carpet. And it's come from a lot of young people. Do you get what I mean? There's a lot of people under, say, 23, 24, that age group down, that are willing to stand up and kind of talk about certain things. I think people in our age group, they're a bit more reluctant because they got kids. And that's a whole nother trauma you're having to explain to another generation. And we spoke about this before. Some of those women themselves are married to the person who assaulted them in the first place. So
100%.
having that conversation with your child, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's all of that stuff, and how much other stuff has happened in the community.
Yeah, but
and
that's
that-
what I'm saying. That's
there's
why.
so much has gone on that it's hard to even just pinpoint certain things. But for me, I needed it personally.
Mind blowing.
The rest of the world, Allah knows best, because how many people
Yeah.
have lost businesses, how many people have lost jobs. So there's the thing, but then you've got other businesses that have thrived, corner shops, takeaway shops, all other businesses that are cash-based and where you can be out and about still without having to have a mask on or do it, etc. You can still function.
Things that
So
people overlooked and didn't
yeah,
rate.
I mean, a lot of people
They
come
became
out
like
of this
Harrods.
a lot better
You know what I'm saying?
off than they came into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because me looking back at the thing, and I'm just thinking like pre-2020, everyone's just moving fast. No one's got time to check their family members. No one's got time for their kids, their wife, their dads, their cousins, their uncles. No one's got time to read Quran. We ain't got time to think about Allah. We ain't got time to think about the hereafter. We're just moving rapid. Everyone's moving fast, fast, fast. Then I feel like we get hit to a halt where everything stops. You can't even go to your corner shop. People apparel like, raw, coronavirus, is it in the stores? What are we going to do? Shops are shut down. The world came to a standstill. We're not talking about where we live. We're talking about the whole world. Came to a standstill, lockdown, borders are closed, no more flights. People have got their flights booked. There weren't no, because more time, what happens if you book a flight and then the airline cancels? Everyone's keeping up a madness, my money, blah, blah, blah. I need to get on a flight. Coronavirus, everyone's just humble. All right, cool. Run the money back.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let me sit down. Everybody, like things that we had no time for, all of a sudden we got time. We're a community of microwave. Like we're a microwave community. Like Raymond always says to me that, like we ain't got no patience. We're not even like we're gone past microwave. We need something else now because we don't even wait for the ding. Man, as soon as man pull it in, man's got waiting for the counter. As soon as man pop it before the bell goes because we want things quick. We don't want to wait up. We don't want to line. Now you're lining up to get into Foot Locker. You're lining up to get into the corner shop.
Yeah.
You're lining up to get into Tesco. This one, so you're lining up to get into the masjid.
Run the ends. You're
And that's
behind
the
some
reality. Think
community
about it.
warden
Yeah,
firm.
come on.
It's peak.
We're going into the mosque and it's all spaced out. We've got our masks on. We got our own prayer mats. We're having patience that we never had before. And this is just across the board. You know what I mean? And on top of that, you know, we're becoming more like community friendly in terms of what's my neighbor like? Sure, I grab her something from the shop. People were grabbing things for their neighbors. Like, do they need something? Is she all right? Is she elderly? Can her family get to her? Let me check for my neighbor. Let me see what she's saying. Like, we became more friendly. And that's why I was saying that when you look at what happened with the George Floyd, when you look at that pertinent time in history being connected to the coronavirus, for me, that was a period because the world's on lockdown. Everyone's at home. We're patiently waiting to see what's on our TV screens. Netflix, all of a sudden, can't release enough shows. Like, everyone's seeing everything on there. Like people have just got time for everything. Like, we're just consuming a lot because nothing's going on. So the TV and all of that stuff, social media has become everything. So now everyone's sitting at home and someone gets murdered in their screen. People go mad. People are not having
It's
it.
time to process it now.
Yeah, the community comes out again. Everyone's marching, black, white, you know what I'm saying? European, Asian, African, Caribbean, wherever you are, everyone's coming out together. We're all marching. We have to see a difference. We want to see a difference. You know, issues that took place a while back that weren't brought to the forefront are getting brought to the forefront. We want justice. Things that I feel like it's brought, I think this moment in time, like we've had to lose something to gain something. You know what I mean? We've had to lose something, which was our freedom. Not freedom because
Social liberties.
certain Illuminati man watching this are gonna say, see, these men are gone. Them man, they want to lose their freedom so that they can get certain. I'm not saying we're trying to lose freedoms, but I feel like something was taken from us that made us sit back and say, hold on, right, what's going on? We're moving a bit too fast. And it also connected us to the community. So I don't know, I feel like 2020 has been a mad year so far. We only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it better for us all. I mean, allow us to see many more Ramadans and that. Because as much as I benefited from this Ramadan, I'm not trying to see another one like that again, like that. I'm trying to get in a masjid, get that taraweeh in, you know what I'm saying?
No one's blanked me. Like, none of them old uncles are blanked me this year. I ain't bumped into them in the community. So
That's what I'm saying.
no, I ain't had that interaction.
Do you know what I noticed though as well, like through this whole time is the way we take in information is shocking and the amounts that we take in at a time. So when you go back to the George Floyd thing, within the space of a week, people in the UK alone have been bombarded with so much of America's bloody history.
You don't know
where do you start pulling apart? And also, you're taking in so much of this that you're demanding changes in the UK legal system that actually, they don't even exist here in the first place.
Right.
Because you're asking for changes based on what's going on in America without educating yourself on what's actually happening here. Because the laws are completely different. The laws are different state by state in America, let alone going into federal law. That's why marijuana is legal in some states, but it's still a federal crime. Do you get what I mean? That'd be like it being legal in London, but the government can still arrest you for it. It's crazy. So
that's a mad thing. Whoever made that must be having
it's
a big
crazy.
split
It's
himself,
crazy.
you know
It's
what I'm saying?
crazy.
Yeah, hi.
But the way we take in so much information, like how much of it are we actually retaining, and what are we retaining? So we're taking in all this information, and all this time is happening. The NHS is just disappearing slowly but surely. But we're so concentrated on what's going on stateside, we're not even paying attention to what's being passed through Parliament. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So for me, that's a big eye opener. Is anytime a major incident happens, abroad or here, you always have to keep an eye on what's being pushed through, what motions are being pushed through in Parliament.
100%.
Because these are where the real changes are going to affect us.
100%.
It's the same with the elections. So people, are you going to vote? You're going to vote. You would probably affect more change on a local level, like your local councillor.
Yeah.
They're the people you actually want links with.
Yeah.
Because they're the people that can go and then whatever they're going to do, advocate for you.
Shout out a man like
Exactly,
Hash.
people like Hash.
Yeah.
It's vital, Wacky. People in the community, how many councillors do you see walking around in a tracksuit? You don't
That's
see it.
official.
Yeah, that man
You
said.
don't see it. And it makes a difference. Because I can call him
100%.
tomorrow, you could call him and say, Hash, I've got this
Them man will
issue.
nudge you.
Yeah.
30.
Exactly, but bro, it's a massive thing.
they
Not
push through
only that,
things.
is other councillors seeing that and understanding that this guy can do both. He can carry himself in both circles. It's important.
100%.
I'm kind of digressing from the point, but
but I'm
that
with
whole
you.
information thing, I think it is important, especially as a Muslim community. Like we saw how many people we had debates with and little arguments and in the comment sections and things where keep the same energy for Muslims when you're talking about Black Lives Matter. And that's a whole nother issue going
that's
into
what
it.
it
Do you
is.
know
With
what
a
I
keyboard
mean?
and a Beyblade
that's
trying to
something
spin the whole thing. Someone was going there, yeah, but all lives matter.
But for some people, it's valid for them. That in their mind is valid.
No, word for word, the statement's not a lie. Don't get me wrong.
But for us,
But it's like saying, you know what it is?
you have a
It's
balance
like,
of it.
I saw something saying the other day, Martin Luther King, when he said, I have a dream. And it's like, this is like someone interjecting there and then, when what the black people was going through in America, there and then, when he made that statement, and you saying, we all have a dream at that time in history. You can't belittle someone's struggles, like one sock being on fire, and you know what I'm saying? You're like, what about
And
mine?
that's 2020. Like I'm saying, 2020. A lot of it's exposed a lot of things, community-wise. It's exposed good and bad, innit? It's shown that there's certain people in the community who are no longer prepared to also stand on the side and allowed to see racism as they used to. Because I've never seen white people come out, they've come out this year and say enough is enough. And I'm seeing there was one video I see, and when there was one white guy just being a hella racist towards black people, saying like nigger this, nigger that, blah blah blah, and then the white woman's trying to tell him like, you're racist, you don't care. Like he's saying a bag of stuff, you don't care. Then she just said, you know what? I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
Yeah, then she just shut him down.
And he just couldn't.
Yeah, he couldn't talk
that
no
was
more.
it.
She was just screaming over him. And that, for me, it's like seeing that for me was good because a lot of the time we grew up, we've grown up, especially if you're from Woody, where man's from. Man's grown up with white people all our lives, side by side. But you have to be a certain type of white to understand some of the issues that black people go through. That's why you find that a lot of the time, from the Irish community, they stand with man because they've been there.
They've been through it.
They've been when it was no
Remember,
blacks,
no colours,
no dogs,
no
no Irish.
Irish,
They've
no
been
dogs,
there.
yeah.
They know it. You know what I'm saying? They know that stigma and they know how they know the difficulties to come across. So they've always been outspoken. Even when you look at the Irish and how their support for places like Palestine and the freedom and liberating Palestine allowed them to have their own state and stuff like that. The Irish have been on the forefront with that till now, like all Celtic and them type of things. I see that they mix and match kits and that. So they've been doing it from an early stage because they understand the struggle. Even apartheid in South Africa, the Irish were on it from early. They're a different type of group, but I'm saying to just see, generally speaking, white people coming out and being there. 2020, for me, it showed that people were prepared for change and things were coming. At the same time, it exposed the hella racist people who, even from the black community, who don't get it, who are like, what are you talking about? Black lives matter, all lives matter, and they're singing that same song. So I think 2020 has been a crazy year so far, man. I think we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of exposing. We've seen a lot of good come from it. It's just been a crazy year, innit? That's why I just wanted to get an insight to what you lot have seen. Obviously, this is our first set on this thing.